What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So these confirmations about things that have been that were cut from Justice League or didn't make the final cut have just keep coming out, and it's just getting more and more frustrating to hear about things that we could have seen in the movie. And the reason it's frustrating is because a lot of these things are things that fans really wanted to see in the first Justice League movie ever. And you know, when we hear from people that worked on the movie and were so close to the movie, when we hear these things that we really wanted to see and we find out that, oh, these things were shot but they just didn't make it, or you know, they were cut, or you know, it's just really disappointing. And so now there's been a new reveal from cinematographer Fabian Wagner, who a lot of you are probably familiar with. He did an email interview with a website called Inverse, and in that interview via email, he revealed that there were scenes shot with a black Superman suit, and he mentioned that it was a really cool costume, but that unfortunately that didn't make the cut. And he says either because there were previous statements he had made after the movie came out that he was really surprised at how much was cut from the final product of the movie, and he had mentioned before that he really likes and appreciates the way Zack Snyder tells his stories, and that he takes his time telling these stories. And you know, with Justice League, he just didn't get to do that. And so, you know, Fabian Wagner, being a cinematographer, having worked so closely with him and shooting the movies with him, like, I'm sure it's just as disappointing, if not more disappointing, for him to see a lot of his amazing work not make the final movie. And it's like, oh, it's so frustrating. I mean, a lot of us expected, or at the very least hoped, to see the black Superman suit in Justice League. And the reason for that is because obviously he died at the end of Batman vs. Superman, and the foreshadowing of the black suit came from the black and silver coffin that we saw at the end of Batman vs. Superman during the funeral. Well, okay, there was two funerals going on, yes, one for Clark in Smallville, and then one for Superman in Washington, D.C., where they gave him a military-style funeral. And that's where we saw the black and silver coffin, and, you know, surprised a lot of people in a good way, because it was, like I said, a foreshadowing that hopefully we would see him come back with a black and silver suit in Justice League. And that would be comic book accurate, because when he died from Doomsday in the comics, just like he died from Doomsday in the movie, he came back with a black and silver suit. It was like a regeneration type of suit, and it healed him. And so that's why a lot of people were hoping to see it. And of course, you know, a lot of people were thinking he might have long hair and a beard, like he does in the comics when he comes back, which also makes sense because he's dead, but his cells are just they don't decay like a regular human, so it would make sense for his hair, his facial hair and his hair to keep growing, right, until he is able to come back and be powered up by the sun in that black solar suit. So it would make sense for him to have facial hair and long hair. And you know, with the issue that happened with his mustache and all that stuff, that would have been, I mean, that would have been a way for them to take advantage of giving him a beard and long hair the way people wanted to see him, because he had a mustache. So they could have just added a beard to his face and gave him some long hair. I mean, it's not complicated. It's probably a lot easier than doing the stupid CGI they did on his face, and it would have looked better, And, you know, fake hair, they do that for movies all the time. So it's not like, you know, it's difficult for them to do. They do that for movies all the time. And it would have been better, like I said, than the stupid CGI they did on his face for all those reshoots. So it's just, they could have taken advantage of that. And I think a lot of people would have rather seen that than the CGI face that we got. And, you know, people also were expecting to see the black suit because there were all these toys coming out and that black hat that people were talking about, and, you know, there were products coming out that were leading people to believe that we would see a black suit. And of course, it started with Henry Cavill posting that picture on his Instagram last year, the close-up of the suit. It was a blackish, grayish suit, obviously Superman suit, and it's just, I don't know, it's frustrating. We did, and it makes sense also for him because if you think about it, he's pretty much the only Kryptonian, say in Man of Steel, that doesn't have a black suit. You know, Zod and his soldiers have black suits. Come on, baby, it's okay. Superman's dad, Jor-El, has a blackish gray suit. A little bit more color gradation, but it's still sort of that color. It's not blue and red like Superman's. And of course we get, I mean, okay, we did kind of get a black suit, Superman suit, in Man of Steel during the Skull dream sequence where Zod is showing him what he wants him to be a part of and his plan, Zod's plan for the Earth. And so that's probably the only time we're going to get to see that, I guess. In the comics, it doesn't have a cape, but I still wouldn't have mind. I think I have a feeling for a cinematic version, they probably would have a cape on it. But I don't know, because I don't know what they shot. We don't know what kind of scenes they shot with the black suit in Justice League. So if they did shoot him regenerating in it somehow, like in a, even if it was still in the ship or whatever, you know, maybe it didn't have a cape. But anyway, I think people would have been happy to see it in any way, even briefly, and then expect also, of course, for him to have his classic blue and red suit later on. And yeah, so I don't know. I do not know. We don't know when the home release is set. The home release date is going to be for Justice League, and we don't know what we're going to get on the home release. We don't know if we're going to get any kind of extended version, Snyder's version, which I know a lot of us want. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see what Warner Brothers decides to do. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today, and let me know what you guys think about that. Would you have liked to see the black suit? I know everybody did. There's been so many photoshopped pictures of him since he died, of Superman, of Henry Cavill in the black suit since he died in BVS, because that's what people expected to see. And I guess the way they sort of gave us, they did it like in homage to the black and silver suit in Justice League, where they have, spoiler alert, in the beginning of the movie, they're showing around the world people mourning Superman's death, and there's like all these black and silver banners, like in different parts of the country, different parts of the world. And when I saw that in the trailer, you know, like the black and silver memorial and stuff, I was kind of losing hope that we would see the black and silver suit, because I figured that that type of homage would be the only way that they were going to give it to us in the movie. And turns out that was the case. But, you know, hearing from the cinematographer himself that they did shoot scenes with the black suit is just... So that means they made a black suit for him, because he said it was a cool costume. And, it, you know, sounded like it wasn't just going to be like his actual suit that was just digitally altered or something. It was actually a costume, and what a waste. Like, what a waste. They better use it somehow, some way, someday. But we shall see. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Thanks to my viewers, subscribers, patrons. Check out the links in the description. Follow me on Twitter, all that good stuff. And thanks for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.